So we're really on a roll today, and I'm going to be talking about a couple more topics because I feel very invigorated and connected to you all. So let's do it. Right now, I'm going to talk about what is good parenting and its association with unconditional positive regard. So how many of you are parents here who are watching my video right now? Well, I can't really see you, but many of you might already be parents, or some of you might be thinking of becoming parents in the future. So one important thing to remember is that parenting is the most important job that you can ever take up, and a very noble one, however a very important one, because you can either make it or break it for your child. So before you become a parent, it's extremely important to know what are good parenting skills. One of the skills that I'll teach you today is called unconditional positive regard. And it was a concept much emphasized and used by Carl Rogers, a prominent humanistic psychologist. Within his own psychotherapeutic context, he would use unconditional positive regard a lot. So in order to understand what unconditional positive regard is, firstly, we need to understand what conditional positive regard is. So what happens when a child is growing up and the child ends up doing a mistake or behaves badly? The parent often goes to the child and says, "That's bad behavior. I don't approve of that," right? So when the child hears that, the child starts believing that the love of the parent is conditional. So it's conditional on the fact that the child behaves well. And so what the child starts doing is that the child starts repressing all the weaknesses or limitations that the child has, and trying to achieve perfection. And so the child sees that, okay, I can only be loved if I have no faults in myself. I can only be loved if I have this, this, and this. So I'm going to make sure I have this, this, and this. And so what this ends up causing within the child is a feeling of low self-worth, that the child is only deserving of love and respect if they fulfill the certain criteria. And so when a child starts believing that, it can sort of leave certain narcissistic wounds within the child. And so it's extremely important as a parent to be very cognizant of how you approach your children. So let's talk about unconditional positive regard. Now, what type of parenting is that? If you have seen celebrities out there who are very successful and have accomplished many things in their life, for example, J-Lo or even Priyanka Chopra, some of the stories they tell about their parents is that no matter what happened, their parents were always supportive of whatever they wanted to do, right? For instance, J-Lo's father told her that even if all these things were taken away from you, like your fame, all the wealth that you've accumulated, your talent, everything was taken away from you, I would still love you. You would know that there's one person in the world who still loves you just for who you are. And so that is an example of a very good type of parenting, okay? Why? Because the parent is assuring the child that they love the child for who they are. And the truest, most genuine type of love, what is love in its essence, is to love someone for who they are. The very essence of a person itself is worthy of love and respect. And to convey that to your child is the most fabulous way you can ever bring up a child. So regardless of how bad they behave, how limited they are in certain areas of their life, maybe they get bad grades, maybe they failed, regardless of that, as a parent, you may scold them, but you always have to back up by saying that no matter what you do in this life, I still love you for who you are. And all of those external factors don't matter to me. Now you might think that, okay, well, there is a trade-off if we tell children that, okay, no matter what you do, I love you unconditionally, right? So basically that's what you're saying. You love someone unconditionally. However, if you say that, maybe like the children will be spoiled, or maybe the children wouldn't want to achieve anything because they're like, okay, now we could be lazy and we don't have to achieve anything because, we're loved unconditionally. So how do you balance that trade-off? How do you balance between teaching children that they're loved regardless of whatever goes wrong out there, versus, no, don't do that, you're a bad kid, I will not love you if you don't do this, this, and this. So how do you find a balance? I'll show you the steps, and please do write it down or follow this if this resonates with you. Okay, so how do you talk to your child using unconditional positive regard, as well as teaching the child how to be achievement oriented, but from a more healthy aspect? So first of all, you tell your child that no matter what happens or what the world is or how other people are, you love him or her for who he or she is. Okay, you love your child for who they are, the very essence of your child. So if nothing else existed, you still will love them. Okay, it's very important for you to tell your child that as a parent, because it helps form a very, very solid sense of self-worth, which is the recognition that you're worthy of love and respect. And it's important to form that in a child as well as yourselves. The second thing you do is you can tell your child that, now, having said that I love you for who you are, it doesn't mean you can just sit there being some incompetent person. Well, you can reframe these words. You don't have to use the same words, but you could tell your child that it's important to, you get one life, and it's a journey, and you get to see who you are as a person. And so as part of your personal journey in life, explore the highest and bestest version of yourself, because in exploring the highest and bestest version of yourself, you will enable the most divine part of you to express itself in its highest form. And so when you teach the child to be achievement oriented in that manner, then the child doesn't feel that they have to get A's, they have to pass with like 5 stars, or like get acceptance letters from everywhere, because they will get love. But the child believes that all of these accomplishments, all of these achievements are things they're doing to see what their highest, bestest version is. And know that regardless of what goes on outside in the world, their self-worth is still protected, and they are worthy of love and respect despite of whatever happens in the world out there. And so in teaching the children this type of way of approaching the world, the child develops a very healthy sense of like collective human love, and love for oneself and love for other people. It's not about squishing other people to get up, but just adding value by just being the highest and bestest version of yourself, and knowing that regardless of anything else, you have this unconditional positive love in your life. That's it. So folks, hope this video resonates with you. If you have any questions regarding unconditional positive regard and how it impacts the kids, please put the comments down below, and I will make sure I acknowledge them. Okay, have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye.